Season 2 of Andor is here and you don't remember what happened in Season 1? Well, watch this video because I'm going to go through Season 1 episode per episode. Hello everybody, I'm Kamira and in this video I'm going to talk about Andor. Now I'm going to break through the entire Season 1 episode per episode on what happened, but if you only want a quick recap, I'm gonna do one right now where it's like an entire Season 1 in a couple of minutes. But if you want more in depth, then go and make sure to watch the whole video. Andor, while looking for his sister, accidentally or not so accidentally kills two guards. That attracts the attention of Serial Khan, who goes in and investigates and wants to capture Andor. Andor, knowing he's in trouble, he goes to his friend Bix to ask her to contact a buyer who is willing to buy a piece that Andor stole. Bix contacts the buyer comes, and Andor and Luther, the buyer, meet. All the while, Serial Khan and some of other guards are also on the planet to capture Andor. We have a fight sequence here, and Luther tells Andor that he is not actually here for the peace, but he's interested in Andor to come with him. Given the circumstances, Andor goes with him, and Luther offers Andor a job where he has to steal from the Empire money with a team. The team is not very happy for the new guy, but they do a job anyway, and well, some of them get out alive, some of them not, but while Luther goes back to Coruscant, where he has an alter ego that is a shop owner, and Senator Mothma goes to Luther, and we learn that Senator Mothma is the one who is funding this rebellion. Senator Mothma has money issues, and she has to ask a friend for help. This Imperial supervisor, Dedra Meero, also learns about Andor and she wants to capture him. Dedra Meero goes to the planet where Cassian grew up with and tortures his friends in order to get information out on where Cassian is. After the heist, Andor goes back to his home planet to convince his mother to go with him, but his mother wants to stay for the rebellion. So Andor leaves alone and then gets arrested for literally walking, and he gets a 6-year sentence. In the prison, he makes a rebellion happen and convinces his cellmates to break out of the prison. While he's in prison, his mother dies. In the end, everyone we know wants to either capture or kill Andor on his mother's funeral, where he sneaks into. His mother gives a speech about the rebellion and how they have to stand up against the Empire. So the people on that planet fight against the Empire. All the while, Cass rescues Bix, and some of his friends and Bix take off, and the season ends with Cassian going to Luther to ask to be a part of the rebellion. Episode 1. Cassian Andor is looking for his sister in a bar where two guards follow him out, and they start to pick on him, so he starts to fight back and accidentally kills one of the guards, and then not once accidentally kills the other guard too. Serial Khan gives a report to his boss about the two guards that were found dead. His boss tells him to make it look like an accident and forget about it, but Serial can't. So, against his boss's command, he takes up a search party for Andor Cassian. He goes home to Ferrix, where he grew up, and starts to make an escape plan. He asks his friend for an alibi and asks his other friend Bix for her to connect a buyer because he has something to sell. She contacts the buyer and she has a boyfriend, which is important because he sees them together and he gets a little bit jealous. We see a flashback from his childhood, from his birth world Canary, where a starship crashed and he went with the group exploring the ship and leaving his sister behind. Episode 2. In the flashback from his childhood, we see Andor's group leader getting killed and them dragging the leader back, but Andor stays at the ship. Bix's boyfriend, due to his jealousy, gives up Andor to the guard team that is searching for him. All the while, Andor is planning his escape and the buyer is coming, and we also get to know that Canary is supposedly poisonous and nobody lives there. Episode 3. We see another flashback to Cassian's childhood where we see him going into the crashed spaceship and trying to destroy it. There are also 2 thieves who enter that spaceship and find Cassian there. And they bring him with them because there is another spaceship coming that wouldn't let Cassian out there alive. Cassian and the buyer Luthen finally meet. While Cassian and Luther have a meeting, Cyril and his team is on their way to capture Cassian. Bix, realizing that, goes to warn Cassian after she realizes that it was her boyfriend that ratted Cassian out. Her boyfriend follows him and gets killed. In the meeting, Luthen tells Cass that it was not really the Starpath unit but Cassian who he wanted to meet and have a negotiation with. Due to the attack that happens to them by the guard team, Cassian is forced to leave the planet with Luthen. Episode 4. We get introduced to Dead Ramiro, who is an Imperial supervisor and wants to climb higher. She wants access to the information about what happened on Ferrix because the Starpath unit that Andor stole is from a planet that she supervises. Cassian gets offered a job to help a group steal an Imperial payroll, and there is only 3 days left until the heist. So the group is being a little skeptical about Cassian, and also he's lying to them about his real name and why he's there. Only the group leader Val knows why and how he's really there. After Luthen offers Cassian the job, he goes home to Coruscant, where he is a shop owner who sells valuable items. Senator Mon Mothma comes to him to buy something, but they actually talk about the rebellion and she is the one funding it, but she is short on money, so she wants to include someone else to help her with the money. Episode 5. Dandor thinks that the random attacks on the Empire are not random, but part of a bigger rebellion. Her boss told him to have an actual proof about it. So she spends her time trying to connect the dots. The group starts to go to the Imperial base where the heist is. There is a little bit of conflict in the team, and during that conflict it comes out that Cassian is only there because he's getting paid. We get to know more about the senator's personal life, that she doesn't really get along with her husband and her daughter doesn't really like her. Episode 6. The team attacks the base, but only Val, Cinta and Andor gets out of it alive. Episode 7. Cyril, after getting kicked out from his job, goes back to his mother, where she makes him go to a job interview, which is very boring. But due to his uncle, he gets the job. Luthen gives the job to kill Andor to Val. Andor goes back to Ferrix to pick his mother up and leave, but his mother refuses to go with him as she was inspired by the attack on the Empire and she wants to stay there and rebel. We also get the information that Cassian's father died the last time that the Empire was on Ferrix. Andor goes to another planet, but he gets caught walking too suspiciously and he's sentenced in prison for 6 years. The senator talks to her friend and he agrees to help her about the money problem. Episode 8. Dedra brings in Syria for questioning, and after that she takes off to Ferrix, where she tortures a boy's father and brings in Bix for questioning too. Andor is in prison working, and he sees his cellmate communicating through floors, and also one of his cellmates die. Luthen goes to Saw Gerrera with an offer that he will sell him parts for his ships that he needs if he helps another man with his attack. But Saw refuses because the other man is a separatist. Episode 9. They kill off the boy's father, and Dedra also tortures Bix for information. Cyril goes to Dedra's workplace and begs her for a chance. Andor and his cellmates are planning to break out of the prison. Also, there is something that happened on level 2. The thing is that someone was released from level 4 but got sent back the next day on level 2. One of the old men that Cassian is working with in the prison dies. Val visits Mon Mothma because Val is her sister. Mon Mothma has to meet someone, a thug, as she said, to cover her banking problems. Episode 10. Do you remember this red-haired Imperial supervisor who was in a couple of scenes? Yeah? He turns out to be a rebel too, and Luther put him in that spot so that he can spy on the Empire from the inside. Andor finally convinces their group leader to be a part of the plan, and they break out of the prison. The senator meets the man, and he, in exchange for the money, wants his son to meet her daughter. And he basically proposes a marriage. Episode 11. Andor and one of his cellmates are getting off the planet. Andor goes back to the last planet he was on and gets his money and gun back, and then calls home only to discover that his mother died. Luthen goes to Saw again because Saw agreed to have the other man in his attack. But it's no longer available because the Empire knows about the attack, and Luthen is ready to sacrifice 30 men in order for the greater good. Episode 12. Cassian goes back to Ferrix for his mother's funeral, but he has to sneak in because everyone there is trying to either catch or kill him. Luthen and his team is there, Cyril is there, and Dedra Meero is also there. Cassian's mom on her funeral gives a speech about freedom and how they were asleep and have to rebel against the Empire. And on that thought, the group that was there goes and runs against the Empire forces that are there. Using this, Andor rescues Bix, and he puts her, his friend, the father's son, and another lady with his robot on a ship to go. He goes back to find Luthen on his ship and makes him an offer: either kill him or take him into the rebellion. And Luthen takes him in. The senator's driver is spying on them, and that's why she talks to his husband in the car about the fact that he was gambling again. This is a lie, but this is how she will explain the money loss from her bank account. She also chooses to accept the man's offer, and he introduces his son to her daughter. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Bye!